So the golf injury prevention that we do here is a combination of the TPI, which is Titleist Performance Institute screen, as well as the 3D analysis, and then a strength and flexibility screen as well. So what we're looking for are imbalances or weaknesses that might be leading to improper swing mechanics, and those are going to lead to two things. They're going to lead to lower scores because you're not going to be hitting the ball as well or as consistently, and they're going to lead to injuries, back pain, elbow strains, things like that. So at the end of this analysis, you end up with recommendations that you should be doing for stretches, strengthening and conditioning exercises, as well as things that you can take to your golf coach and say, I need to work out this mechanical flaw because it's not only making me hit the ball not as well as I could be, but it's also leading to my elbow pain at the end of every round.
So after we do the screen, like I said, we go into one of the assessment rooms and we measure all those ranges of motion and strength. And then we have a couple of power tests that we do with our golfers. We want to look at lower body power and upper body power. So today Tom went through a vertical leap test for his upper body power, and we did a seated medicine ball throw for his upper body power. Whoops. And theoretically, through going through the exercises, we should make Tom stronger and more powerful, which will transfer into his golf game for the performance aspect of it. Our 3D analysis is a little bit more in depth. Tom, who just went through it, we put dots all over him on different bony landmarks, and we're actually able to get ranges of motion, measures of ranges of motion throughout the dynamic golf swing. So we can see how some of his flexibility limitations or mobility limitations might affect his golf swing. So with Tom, I measured his internal rotation of his hip, and he was a little bit deficient in that movement pattern. So I expect, especially if he's going to try and take the club back or try and go beyond what he actually has for mobility in his hip, I expect to see some kind of compensation, whether that's extending up through the hips in his golf swing or bringing his arms back further, whatever it happens to be. Our 3D analysis actually lets us measure that. So the main findings were you had a little bit of shoulder mobility issues, your ankles for sure, and some hip mobility issues, and those definitely play a role in your golf swing, and we're going to basically show you how. Like when you were swinging, you rated your scores 0 to 10, so we analyzed one of your best swings and we analyzed one of your worst swings because we want to see what the difference is. A lot of times in our amateur golfers, what you rate your worst score maybe felt you rated it as your worst score because it felt really awkward for you, when in fact you might have actually been doing everything really right. So if that comes true, like in our golf analysis, we want to make that awkward feeling of you rating it as one of your worst swings, we want to make it more familiar so that you can be more consistent. Or you look at your shin angle, okay, it's going to look like it's kind of leaning over a little bit, but we can actually see this little green dot, you're going to see it rotate. So you're actually getting rotation here in your knee, which is normal. It was, questionable whether or not you actually had a little bit of slide, and I'll show you that on 2D versus the 3D. We don't want to see that knee go in front, okay? And it does a little bit, and then afterwards, you pretty much post up through that pretty well. But by definition on 2D standards, we would call that a slide. The loss of posture, the early extension, hanging back, and the chicken wing, all right, were your main swing flaws. We want your peak angular velocity to basically follow the same format, okay? Again, building off of one another for power purposes. So we have them come back after we've broken down the data, whether it's the 2D or the 3D, and I give them exercises to work on some of the limitations that they might have, whether it's the range of motion or the strength stuff. Put together an individualized program and kind of run them through that. From there, the golfers have their option of whether or not they want to buy a package and really work on their golf swing here, or sometimes they'll try and do it on their own. But the most important part is that we try and adjust the deficiencies that we found. Everyone wants to play the sport that they love, and we want to try and keep our golfers out on the golf course. So those type of athletes or those golfers will come in here and try and figure out why they're getting their back pain, why are you getting the elbow pain, to try and keep them pain-free out on the course. As well as sometimes we get golfers who just want to beat their buddies out on the golf course. So they want an extra 10 yards on their ball flight. So we have both situations come through here.